There is a significant, major development in the search for 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro. The San Bernardino County sheriffs have just shared on social media that the parents of the missing 7-month-old have now been arrested for murder. This is the post that was just shared by San Bernardino County sheriffs on X. It says, update August 22nd, that's today. This morning, detectives from the Sheriff's Homicide Detail and Specialized Enforcement Division have arrested Jake and Rebecca Haro at their residence in Cabazon for PC 187, which is murder. Investigators will continue their search for 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro.
On the evening of August 14th, 2025, 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro was reported missing in Yucaipa, California. His mother, Rebecca Haro, told authorities she had been attacked and knocked unconscious while changing Emmanuel's diaper outside a retail store. When she came to, the baby was gone. The report triggered an intensive, multi-agency search across San Bernardino and Riverside counties. Within days, investigators publicly stated they had identified inconsistencies in the mother's account and that they could not rule out foul play. As investigative actions escalated, search warrants, evidence processing, and vehicle seizure, the case shifted from a critical missing child to a homicide investigation. On August 22, 2025, detectives from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department arrested both Rebecca Haro and her husband, Jake Haro, at the family's home in Cabazon on suspicion of murder. Authorities emphasize that Emmanuel remains missing. The search for him continues even as the parents are in custody. Emmanuel Haro, a 7-month-old infant, was reported missing on the evening of Thursday, August 14, 2025, in Yucaipa, San Bernardino County, California. His mother, Rebecca Haro, initially reported an attack and infant abduction but was later arrested on suspicion of murder. His father, Jake Haro, was interviewed early in the investigation, had his vehicle seized midweek, and was ultimately arrested on August 22nd on suspicion of murder. The key locations in the case include Yucaipa, outside a Big Five Sporting Goods on Yucaipa Boulevard, where the initial report originated, and Cabazon, the family's home, and the site of a later tactical operation and the arrests. Corrupt Roots puts you front row to the darkest corners of justice, where heinous cases and shocking crimes explode, inside the courtroom and on the streets. From celebrity justice to raw legal drama, we deliver unfiltered news, vivid court video, and chaos unleashed. Now back to the expose.
Hesitate, just call.
His name's Emmanuel. He's 7 months old.
On Thursday, August 14th, around 7:47 p.m., the mother reports that an unknown assailant attacked her while she changed Emmanuel's diaper in a parking lot in Yucaipa. When she regained consciousness, the baby was gone. Deputies respond to the 34,000 block of Yucaipa Boulevard for a critical missing child. The Sheriff's Specialized Investigations Division becomes involved the same evening. On August 15th, a broad search gets underway with ground and K-9 resources across Yucaipa and Cabazon. Investigators canvass for witnesses and surveillance. Authorities publicly ask for tips and circulate Emmanuel's description. On August 16th, the Sheriff's Department announces there are inconsistencies in the mother's statement and that foul play cannot be ruled out. Media scrutiny increases between August 17th to 18th and past court records surface. Local reporting confirms Jake Haro pleaded guilty in 2023 to willful child cruelty related to a 2018 incident involving an older child. The plea resulted in felony probation and a custodial term served on a work release program. Authorities do not claim a direct link to Emmanuel's disappearance, but include the prior case in context as they interview multiple people. Detectives seize a vehicle belonging to Jake Haro for evidence processing. A search operation occurs at the Cabazon residence and other related locations. The department reiterates that it cannot rule out foul play, and at least one reported sighting of a baby in Kern County is logged and evaluated. Local courts see ancillary filings. KSQ reports Jake Haro's ex-wife filed for a domestic violence restraining order on August 19th. A hearing is calendared September 9th, separate from the missing infant investigation but noted amid the case's fast-moving events. On August 21st, the search continues. Agencies do not announce a suspect description tied to an abduction scenario. Media outlets air timelines, witness interviews, and neighborhood reactions. Law enforcement keeps operational details limited given the active investigation. That morning, the Sheriff's Department's Homicide Detail and Specialized Enforcement Division conduct an operation at the Cabazon home. Jake and Rebecca Haro are arrested on suspicion of murder. Officials underscore that Emmanuel is still missing and the search remains active. News organizations confirm the arrests and begin publishing deeper backgrounds and timelines. The case began as a critical missing child. Deputies responded to a retail parking lot in Yucaipa on August 14th after a mother reported being assaulted and awakening to find her 7-month-old gone. The Sheriff's Specialized Investigations Division engaged early, signaling the case's seriousness from the outset. By the weekend, the department's public posture shifted. Investigators found inconsistencies in the mother's account and could not rule out foul play. That phrasing is significant. Departments often avoid speculation. Invoking foul play raises the stakes for evidence-driven actions, search warrants, forensic processing, broader interviews. During the week, authorities seized a vehicle associated with the father, searched multiple properties, including the family's residence in Cabazon, processed leads, including a reported sighting in Kern County, and triaged online tips. None of these steps, by themselves, established culpability. Together they suggested an investigation converging on the family's inner circle. On August 22nd, detectives arrested both parents at the Cabazon home on suspicion of murder, PC 187. Authorities immediately stressed that the search for Emmanuel continues. The sheriff's office offered no additional charging details at the time of first reports, which is common in early arrest announcements. California Penal Code 187 murder is the statute cited in the arrest announcements. Being arrested on suspicion of murder is not the same as being charged by prosecutors. Charging decisions and case filings typically follow after a review of investigative reports and evidence by the district attorney's office. Early in high-profile investigations, departments frequently release minimal specifics to protect the integrity of interviews, searches, and potential prosecutions. This mirrors the limited detail offered in the sheriff's confirmed arrest notices and initial press pickups. Local outlets reported court records showing Jake Harrow pleaded guilty in 2023 to willful child cruelty arising from a 2018 incident. He received felony probation and served 180 days via work release, with a suspended prison term. Separate filings in 2020 for alleged firearm and ammunition possession by a felon. Those matters are distinct from Emmanuel's disappearance, but heightened media interest and public scrutiny this week. Amid this week's developments, KSQ reviewed court documents indicating a domestic violence restraining order filing against Jake Harrow by an ex-spouse on August 19th, with a hearing set for September 9th. While separate from the missing infant case, it added to the case's context as investigators pursued interviews and evidence. From the first night, the search effort crossed jurisdictions. Yucaipa, San Bernardino County, where the disappearance was reported, and Cabazon, Riverside County, where the family lives. Authorities canvassed businesses around the Big Five parking area for surveillance video and witnesses, deployed K-9 teams, and engaged specialized homicide units as the case evolved. The sheriff's public updates emphasized active lead triage, including online tips and reported sightings, while avoiding specifics that could compromise the investigation. Midweek, investigators acknowledged at least one reported sighting in Kern County. The department did not detail the location, time, or outcome. Acknowledgement of a sighting often simply means it has been logged for vetting. Such leads are common in missing child cases and frequently do not pan out, but they must be checked. A key visible step was the seizure of a vehicle belonging to the father, consistent with evidence processing for trace materials, digital data, and location history. By week's end, a larger law enforcement operation unfolded at the Cabazon home, culminating in the arrests. Local coverage showed a substantial presence, with the property secured as investigators moved in. The case drew community attention and the involvement of at least one nonprofit, the Uvalde Foundation for Kids, which initially offered to assist and then publicly withdrew its reward and support before later, challenging the parents to re-engage in search efforts, a move that generated headlines but also underscores the fraught nature of public-facing advocacy in active, evidence-sensitive cases. Law enforcement messaging typically cautions that uncoordinated civilian activity may compromise scenes or generate false leads. Departments prefer tips routed through official channels. Multiple reputable outlets have aligned on the core facts surrounding the case. The Los Angeles Times and CAP/ABC7 independently reported the August 22nd arrests on suspicion of murder and confirmed that Emmanuel remains missing while the search is ongoing. AP News likewise verified the arrests, noted the Cabazon location, and highlighted the inconsistencies in the mother's prior account along with her decision to cease cooperation, points that were echoed across local coverage. CBS Los Angeles Call provided additional background by referencing the father's prior child cruelty cases in 2018 and 2023, while also confirming the sheriff's announcement of the arrests. ABC News at the national level distilled the initial dispatch time of 7:47 p.m. on August 14th from sheriff statements and reaffirmed the August 22nd arrests. Meanwhile, KSQ, Palm Springs, offered some of the most detailed local reporting covering the ex-wife's restraining order filing, a timeline of events, the vehicle seizure, and neighborhood-level developments, including an unrelated nearby structure fire the night before, which authorities stated was coincidental. This degree of alignment across outlets, particularly the consistency between local TV, regional print, and AP Wire reports, strengthens confidence in the high-level narrative, even as significant details remain sealed or undisclosed during the active investigation. When an infant is reported abducted by a stranger, particularly in public settings such as a store parking lot, investigators move quickly to test the account against video footage, forensic evidence, and timeline analysis. Genuine stranger abductions usually leave clear signatures, such as the presence of an unrelated suspect vehicle, witness sightings, or conflicting timelines. If early canvassing fails to support the abduction claim, investigators typically shift focus toward known associates, family members, and the last caretakers. This shift is not an immediate accusation, but reflects statistical probability and the fact that these individuals have the most detailed knowledge of the child's routines and vulnerabilities. Public statements citing inconsistencies in statements or noting that authorities cannot rule out foul play often serve as precursors to search warrants, evidence seizures, and occasionally arrests, all of which are visible in this case. The collection of digital devices, vehicles, and home searches is generally intended to reconstruct movement patterns through cell site data or GPS logs, examine trace evidence, and clarify gaps in the timeline. Reaching the threshold for arrest on suspicion of murder indicates investigators believe the case has moved beyond speculation into probable cause, even though the specific evidence supporting that conclusion has not yet been made public. Jake and Rebecca Harrow were arrested on August 22, 2025, at their Cabazon home on suspicion of murder, PC 187. Despite the arrests, Emmanuel has not been located, and investigators continue to pursue leads while urging community members with any information to contact the Sheriff's Specialized Investigations Division. As of the most recent reports, prosecutors have not yet announced formal charges. Updates are expected as booking procedures, initial court appearances, and filing decisions move forward. As of August 22, 2025, the Emmanuel Harrow case has moved from a reported stranger abduction in a Yucaipa parking lot to parent arrests on suspicion of murder after the sheriff's department publicly cited inconsistencies in the mother's story and conducted intensive searches and evidence seizures, including the father's vehicle and the family residence in Cabazon. Jake and Rebecca Harrow were arrested Friday. Emmanuel remains missing, and investigators continue to seek tips while withholding investigative specifics. Formal charging decisions by prosecutors have not been announced yet, and the investigation remains. We close in quiet remembrance of the victims and everyone impacted. Please accept our apologies for any distress caused. Should you follow corrupt routes, we commit to honoring them through careful, compassionate work.